Hi guys, welcome back to another video with Mountain Tribe Homestead. My name's Amberly. It's been a little while since I've posted a video, but I figured today would be a great day to come out and show you guys what all I've done in the garden so far. If you haven't been following me on Instagram and checking out my stories, then all of this should be brand new to you. If you follow me on Instagram and you do check out my story, some of this may be repetitive, but I'm also going to kind of just chat with you guys about some things that's been going on and what we've been up to. Okay, so let's get started and check out the garden. So I got pretty much everything in the ground. There are a few things down here that I do still need to get in the ground, and my mom is going to take a couple things as well. So I'm also holding off on planting those until my mom decides how many of what she needs and she would like. So first things first, the weeds are out of control. So as you can see, I definitely need to be coming in here and weeding. I'm going to put some more straw down now that everything is in the garden. So I'm going to thicken up the layer of straw. As you can see, it's not very thick. I just put a little bit in there to help prevent frost damage and help with keeping the moisture and temperature control in the garden. But these things will take over the garden, and we have had so much rain recently, and being able to coordinate my schedule and availability around the weather has been difficult here lately, but I will probably in the next few days come out here and weed the gardens. But we've got the lettuce is doing wonderfully. Some of it is getting a little tall on its stalks, as you can see that one right there. And we've got peas back here growing up the fence line, and they're doing great. We had a couple cold snaps and I was worried that we would lose some plants, but we didn't really lose any plants to the cold weather. The only time I lost plants this year was from the shock of transplanting them. I kind of my schedule has been crammed, and so the plants have been in the ground based off of my availability, and so sometimes they just kind of got shoved in the ground before they probably could have used a few more days to harden off and get ready to be out in the garden. But my schedule is slam packed most of the time, and so I had to do what I had to do when I was able to do it. Okay, so we have yarrow coming back from last year, and if you've watched my other garden tour videos, you know this is mullein. This is a wild one. I have wild mullein throughout the entire garden. And again, just ignore the weeds. I will be taking care of that soon. I've got some tomatoes I planted in between the lettuce, because as the tomatoes grow up and get taller and as they will need more room, the lettuce will be done and I will have plenty of room in this garden for the tomatoes. Some of the plants that I lost were cucumbers. So the other plan was to have the cucumbers grow up this fence line, and I planted 3 along this entire fence line, and actually 4. And I've only got 2 left. So here's one. And then this little teeny guy down in there kind of sprouted up. And I've got sunflowers planted throughout the entire garden. So packets and packets and packets of them. This is a butternut squash back here, and so this is going to grow up this part of the fence. And the only asparagus that I had this year was one little spear. The other ones were babies. I'm pretty sure the voles got to all of the roots of the asparagus. Okay, in this garden, I planted this grapevine years and years and years ago, and it died back, and I just left it there. And over the past few years, I've planted things in this garden and used this fence line for things to grow up. Well, this year, that grapevine that died, that I thought died, and I never pulled up, I left it there, it came back, and it has grown up pretty tall. So that was unexpected. But anyways, I've got some tomatoes planted, 4 tomatoes back there, and then the 7-year-old and I planted a ton of beans right here. And we've got more tomatoes in the bucket, butternut squash in there to grow up this fence line. On the other side of this fence is where the compost areas are. This is parsnip and carrots that I guess were from not last year, but the year before. Somehow the carrots got in there and decided to bloom and grow up. So somehow the carrots got in there and decided to sprout this year. All right, I've got marigolds all in here and sunflowers. This is strawberries and cream mint. This part of the bed is empty. That is just a pile of grass clippings. We use grass clippings as one of the ways we mulch our beds, and that's one of my favorite ways to mulch the bed. So if you have a bag on your mower, we intentionally bought a mower with a bag so that we could collect the grass clippings and use them for the garden. Excuse me. Okay, along the back fence line, I planted 3 loofah, and the one in the middle died. So I have 2 left. I think I have another one, but I had somebody who wanted it. So I'm only going to have 2 loofah plants this year. The yellow squash, I planted 7 of them, and 2 of them died. So I have 5 yellow squash. This bed, I never got to rake out the back half of this bed and then along the edge right here of this bed. But this was supposed to be my asparagus bed, and nothing but a couple little stalks came up. The voles are horrible over here, so I'm assuming they ate them. But this is some more wild mullein and just some flowers and my mountain laurel, one of my favorite plants. The 7-year-old planted flowers back there, a vine flower, so that should grow up, if they germinate, grow up that fence line there. Okay, and we've got strawberries, and then comfrey. Oh, I've got another comfrey plant over there in that garden. And this is another garden that needs weeded, but a while back we planted onions along the edge here, and the onions are not supposed to be something that the voles will chew up, or at least that's what I've been told by multiple people. And I took a risk and planted a lot of the onions in this bed. The voles were not horrible in this bed, but they have been munching on the onions. And if you see, here's one, they will chew the roots and leave the tops to lay. Sometimes they'll chew the roots and then they will pull, if the tops are small enough, they will pull the tops under the ground and chew them up. But here is one of the onions where, it won't focus, where they've just chewed the bottom off of it and left the top to lay there. I've already had 2, and so that's 4. So that's 4 onions that I've lost. So I'm not sure how well these onions are going to do. I may just throw in the towel and just let the voles go to town. Whatever. I don't want to be upset about it. So I planted 10 tomatoes in here. I've got tons of varieties of tomatoes this year. This is chamomile that came back from last year. And I've got sunflowers planted in all along the edge here. The mint will come up. This is chocolate mint, but I've also got mint and lemon balm in these other ones. Again, I need to weed desperately. And I'm going to come in and mulch heavily, so that should really cut down on the necessary time that I'm going to have to come out here and weed. This is German thyme that has already bloomed, and sage, more yarrow right here, and rosemary, strawberry bed that's kind of spilling into the walkway. And then we've got the green stalks that the 7-year-old and I planted carrots all in this one. Again, we chose to plant the carrots in these because of the vole issue. Now the pockets in these are the deep ones, so there's plenty of room for the carrots to grow down in there. The other option for a green stalk is the pockets are a little shorter and wider. But if you are interested in checking out a green stalk, I do have a discount code in the description, and you just click on there and it'll give you a discount. But I have the 7-tier, or I have the 5-tier one. The 7-tier is the next one I want to get. And then we've got this one. And so these we planted earlier, and you can see she really planted them thick in here. So these ones aren't too bad, but this one is really thick. I'm gonna have to come in and thin it out. But this one, we got 3 layers of carrots, and then we've got, I knew that planting those onions in the edge of that bed was going to be a risk, so I planted some onions in each of these pockets, and they're kind of growing funny, but they're doing all right. They're getting bigger. The bulbs are getting a little bigger, so we'll see how they do. I've never planted onions in a green stalk before. Okay, let's try this again. I was in the middle of recording and my phone ran out of storage. I only have my phone that I document things on, so I'm limited in my storage space. So I had to go inside and transfer a lot of the things that were hogging up storage and transfer them onto my little storage device. So back in the garden. I don't remember where we were, but let me set my coffee down. But let me flip you around. Okay, so we went through that garden and all over there. In this garden, we went through the green stalks. Oh, I was talking about this. This is a bunch of baby Rosa Sharon that one of my neighbors was giving away. They dug up off their property, and I think it's like 32 or something. And I just kind of bunched them all together and shoved them in the ground just to keep them alive. And it's working, but a couple of them don't look like they're doing very well. So we will see if that, I'm not ready to plant them in a specific spot yet for a few different reasons, but if they survive, then I will transplant them somewhere else when I have a permanent spot available. The spot that I want them is not ready yet. So it's all strawberries, and we got our official first strawberry the other day. Unfortunately, there is a yellow jacket's nest in the ground here, and I don't want to spray anything to kill them because I don't want any of that stuff getting on my strawberry plants. So I'm just very careful. But looky there, a perfect little strawberry. There's a handful of them. Oh, here's one. There's some more in there, but they're starting to ripen up. The pepper seedlings are in here. I've got tons of pepper seedlings in here. I have a tomato in there, and then around the edge of it there are carrots growing. So I've got jalapenos, sweet Jimmy something. It's a sweet pepper, and it is a little tiny red pepper that is perfect for making your own paprika. I've got tons of banana peppers. So I have tons of jalapeno peppers and tons of banana peppers for cowboy candy. So I'm going to be making cowboy candy this year out of both of those. I'm going to be doing like a sweet cowboy candy and then just a regular cowboy candy with the jalapenos. And then the jalapenos, I also enjoy making a salsa. It's like a corn jalapeno sweet and spicy salsa. And then I'm also going to be freezing them so that we can have jalapeno poppers. And then I've got all sorts of colored bell peppers. So I've got purple bell, orange bell, yellow bell. But some of the birds will come down, and I need to get a net over this because the birds will come down and peck out the seedlings. And I had that issue last year with my green beans. And in here I have tomatoes, and I need to get this mulched with either grass clippings or straw. And I call this my exotic tomato garden. So I have all of my regular tomato plants that I grow in that garden, and then some over there and in the buckets. And then I also have some more, nope, just that one, because I put butternut squash into a couple of those containers. Those are all potatoes right there, and you can see they're coming up. I really need to cover them some more. And that is either a blackberry bush or a raspberry bush. I bought 5 of them and planted them all in this area, and they all died except for that one. So I'm not sure what that is because I didn't label it. That's one of my problems, but I'm going to try to be better at that this year. But this is called my exotic tomato garden. This is what I call it. And we've got all sorts of crazy looking tomatoes that are going to be in this garden. So this is called a cosmic eclipse tomato, an orange jazz tomato, a black brown bear tomato, purple bumblebee tomato. I don't know how to say this. Sort Roloi tomato, I'm not sure. A great white tomato, and I thought I had like a orange tiger stripe tomato. You know what? Maybe that is still over there. I bet it's still over there somewhere. I still have some tomatoes over there. All right, so again, I knew I was taking a risk with the onions and planting them in the ground with the voles. I've had lots of people tell me that the voles do not like the onion family, and so they will stay away from them. Well, the voles that live in my garden are munching down. So I knew that was a risk, and I'm glad I went ahead and planted some there and some there. So I'm not going to have very many if the voles get all those in the other garden, but at least I'll have some, right? This is a mullein plant. I actually did plant mullein here last year, so this is the second year for this mullein plant. And there were a few little baby carrots sprouting up there. I did not plant those. Actually threw them in there last year and they never came up, so sometimes that'll happen. All right, so let's head on over here and have a little chat. So if you have followed me for a little while, you will have noticed that I've been a little bit quiet. TikTok, I've been very quiet for a while now. I've kind of stepped back from TikTok for a little bit, and I've been kind of gravitating towards really Instagram. So if you cannot find me on YouTube, if I am being quiet on YouTube, you can most likely find me on Instagram. And so I try really hard to make sure that there are updates on Instagram regularly in my stories. And so it's not necessarily going to be regular posts on Instagram, but just throughout the day, kind of when we're doing things or whatever, there's just little snippets of our day posted in our Instagram stories. And sometimes that will also be automatically posted to Facebook. It doesn't always get automatically posted to Facebook, but so if you don't have Instagram and you have Facebook, you can follow us on Facebook, and we will have some stories on Facebook as well. I like to always start the day with a good morning story, and then just throughout the day there's little snippets of what we're doing. So I just figured, since I've been quiet for a little while, I'd just sit down and have a little chat with you guys and kind of let you know like what's been going on, what we've been doing. And I went through the garden and showed y'all what's going on in the garden and what I've done and what I need to do. I need to get to those weeds. The weeds are, it just feels like I can blink and the weeds will just take over the garden. It's unreal. But anyway, so if you haven't noticed, my hair is shorter. I chopped off 10 inches. I didn't do it all at once. I did it in little snippets. And so it is a little bit shorter. It's up in a clip now, so it's not actually this short. It's actually longer, but so it's shorter, and I have layers in my hair now. So my head feels a lot lighter, and it's going to be easier to put up off my neck. I get really hot during the summer. I'm someone who just runs really hot temperature wise all year round. I've always been like that. I do not get cold very easily, so having long hair is difficult. I love my long hair, but it can definitely be something that will make me very hot very quickly. So so a little bit of why I've been a little bit quiet on YouTube. I have been a little bit quiet on Instagram as well. One of the things is, yes, the garden. I needed to get the plants in the ground. I've been slam packed, just like I mentioned earlier in the garden tour. My schedule is crazy busy all the time, and so sometimes I don't have time to document. When you document and things for videos, it really sometimes it can make things take longer than what they would normally, and I don't always have time for that. So sometimes I need to get it done, and when I can get it done, and documenting just isn't an option at times. Other times is I forget. There's a lot on my plate right now, and during different seasons of life, there are different levels of how much stuff's on my plate. For anyone that knows me personally, I am someone who has always had a lot of stuff on her plate, and I always manage it. I always figure it out. But sometimes the less important things kind of get pushed to the side. And yes, YouTube's important, and yes, but my family and myself are going to always come and be more important than any of that stuff. So part of why I've been so busy is it is the end of the school year, and we are schooling year round, but we are coming up on finishing quite a bit of classes, and so that means that I am planning, and I'm looking into planning things for the next school year. I typically do this in March, but I didn't have time to do it in March, number one, and number two, we were not as far along as we normally are when I plan things in March for the following school year. So the planning part got delayed a few months, which is totally okay. But on top of planning for the following school year, we are also changing things, and we're going to be doing things differently than we normally do. So I've been just researching and diving into looking at what our best options are, what's going to fit into our lifestyle, what's going to fit into allowing the girls to get the most out of the curriculum. And not necessarily, when I say curriculum, it's not like a box set of books. It's just I pull from a lot of different resources and typically just kind of mesh it all together. And this year our goal is to do a lot more hands-on things for all three of the girls. So that's really taken up a lot more time, all of that research and planning, and it's taken up a lot more time than it normally does. And I'm also doing it unfortunately, I didn't get it done in March, so I'm also doing it the exact same time that I am working on my garden and working on, when I do my garden, I also plan for the goals of preserving. What are we preserving this year? What does my plan of action need to be for that? And the thing is my garden is only so big, and I can grow as much as I can grow here, but I am always going to need to outsource things. I will never forever be self-sustainable, and I don't think that anybody should. It's too much work for one person, which is where the community comes in. So I pull from some resources in the community, and I've got my other goals for this year are to preserve way more food than we've ever preserved for our family, and I'm also working that into the schedule. So once May hits, our lives get incredibly busy, incredibly busy, and I have to begin planning for the entire rest of the year, and that includes, you know, the preserving season, which the heaviest preserving season where I live is in August. So by the time August hits, I should have everything all planned out. I've got things planned out of what I want to preserve, how much I want to preserve, and then all of that has to get fit into the grocery budget, and the grocery budget gets planned out ahead of time. I buy from Azure Standard. I don't buy from them every month. I also buy from a local bulk store, and I don't buy from them every month. But I also am purchasing our meat from local farms, because I currently where we live, I currently cannot grow our own meat. So I outsource on that, and all of that, those finances have to be based off of each other, and I can't do it all in 1 month, so it all has to get spread out and figure out, when am I buying from Azure? When are the farms going to have their pigs ready, or their cows ready, or their chickens ready? When are those going to be ready? And then on those months, figure out everything else accordingly based off of that. But I'm not going to go into any more detail on that. I'll do a whole different video on planning and budgeting and how I do things, but that's not what this video is about. That's just a little bit of what I've been up to. I've also been working on that for the rest of the year, working on homeschooling for the rest of the year, working on the garden with my free time. This is also the springtime. Late spring is when the vending season begins for the year, and I've really been trying to prepare for that, and I actually have an event tomorrow, so I've been preparing for that. So I've been stocking up on that and getting my schedule together for that, and I'm actually going to be posting a schedule on social media of when Mountain Tribe Homestead is going to be set up at different events locally. And so if you're local, you can look for that calendar to see when we're going to be where. So if you're not local, check out our website and you can see what we have in stock and what's for sale. So on top of all of that, there have been a lot of important, stressful life decisions that we have come up against, and it's by choice, And I'm not going to go into detail until anything is official, but all of the things that go into that and that are intertwined can be very overwhelming and very stressful, and it's a good stress. They're good decisions. It's just a life change, and I think that we're really looking forward to it, but it's also kind of scary and stressful, and having the being in limbo for so long for just waiting for the next step is kind of exhausting. So I have also begun a new self-care routine, and a lot of times it takes to form new habits, it takes a little while to form a new habit and to create something to become a part of your routine as second nature. And in the meantime, until it becomes second nature, and until it becomes like a natural part of your routine, it can be kind of exhausting switching up your routines and doing things differently. And so I've been working on that. I won't go into detail about that, but I think that just those are all of the things that have been affecting why I may not have been so active on YouTube and even on Instagram. I did step away from TikTok. I did that intentionally. TikTok is just not a healthy place to be all the time. It's not somewhere I want to be all the time. I will post on TikTok sometimes. I do have a lot of followers on TikTok, and I know that there are times that they wonder where I'm at. So, but YouTube, Instagram, Facebook are the places where you're going to find me active. Instagram stories are the most active. So if you're looking to find regular updates, go get on Instagram and follow us on Instagram and check out our daily updates and our stories. Oh, the other thing is, I'm not sure if I made an announcement on YouTube or not. I made an announcement on Instagram and Facebook, but we do on the Mountain Tribe Homestead website, there is a new blog, and I think there are 3 posts up now, but I try to get a post up twice a month. This month's post got delayed by a few days. I just am struggling with my memory on my phone and the amount of storage and space that I have on here. So I haven't been able to upload pictures onto that blog post yet, but as soon as I get pictures uploaded on that blog post, which actually that's part of my goal for today, before we have to leave later, I'm going to get that done and then hopefully get that scheduled to go out tomorrow or Sunday, and then that blog post will be just a day or 2 late than normal. But I try to do it on 2 Fridays every month, and it's going to be all different topics. It's not anything in particular, but you can get on our website and sign up for updates, and then the blog, when it goes live, will automatically get sent to your email. The only thing is that for some reason it gets sent to spam a lot of the times, and so you just have to go into your email and add our email into your contacts, so that anytime you get sent a new blog post, it won't go into your spam folder. But just you can find us on there, and if I'm quiet and you haven't heard from me for a while, everything's fine. It's just my plate is overflowing, and I'm just trying to keep all the balls in the air and figure out which ones I can drop for the moment. And so as things happen in life, and as new things happen, I will update you guys. And a lot of things are going to start happening in the garden, a lot of vending events, a lot of new life experiences, and we're really looking forward to a lot of things. And so there's going to be a lot more content coming out. I need to get my storage thing figured out on my phone. But it's exciting, and so there's going to be plenty of stuff that's going to be posted here before long. So that's basically just an update of what's been going on in our life. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.